What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Lowdown. There's a lot to talk about today, so let's jump right in. Now, the first two stories I said I was going to talk about this week that were a little bigger, about concussion protocol changing and a new catch rule, are actually not that big stories once I looked into it. So basically, the new concussion protocol is super simple. It actually doesn't affect the players at all. It actually more affects the medical staff on the teams. So nothing will change as far as how the players are tested. The only really big difference is that the medical staff will be held more accountable for trying to hide players. And so when players have concussions, basically they're going to get daily tests. If these tests are not done, the team will end up getting fined. So basically the whole new concussion protocol is to hold teams more accountable and make testing more consistent. That way they can see their baseline and see how they progress. Now, the second story about the new catch rule, again, super simple. It's basically that the head of the league referees said that they're going to likely rule if they don't know between a catch and a no catch, they're going to be more likely to rule it a no catch, and then they'll just go back. I don't really agree with that, but that's what they're doing. It's not like they're putting in a whole new rule for making a football move and stuff. It's just that they're going to be more likely to rule it a no catch than a catch. Okay, so now let's actually get into the stories today. Now, another Cowboys player has found another way to miss training camp, except this time besides being suspended like the rest of the team. So Cowboys linebacker Damian Wilson will be missing 2 to 3 weeks because of a paintball accident where he was accidentally shot in the eye. Now, this is sort of a fluke injury, not a lot here that could really be his fault, but the reason I find this really interesting is if you guys watch the show Ballers, one of Spencer's clients, Vernon, is also a Cowboys linebacker, and on last week's episode, he was shot in paintball, fell, and hurt himself, and is out of their training camp right now as well. Literally within a week, from a fictional show and reality, the exact same thing happened. Cowboys, I am so sorry for that. You guys got a lot of fixing to do up here lately. Now, 2 kickers were also in the news this week for both showing phenomenal leg strength, but for 2 completely different reasons. First off, Justin Tucker, who just got a massive contract from the Ravens, decided to show off at training camp this week and kicked a 69-yard field goal, which would have been an NFL record. Now, at the same time, Broncos kicker Brandon McManus was practicing field goals when a 10-year-old fan decided to try and catch one of the field goals, and he obviously had no clue how fast the ball was going because as soon as he tried to catch it, it broke his wrist. But cheers up for the little man because all day he got to hang out with the trainers, he got to hang out with the coaches, and then especially he also got to hang out with Brandon McManus. Now, one of the most scrutinized quarterbacks in the NFL right now, Tony Romo, is back in the news, and this time it's not for throwing interceptions or being hurt. It's for looking like he should actually be an O-lineman instead of a quarterback anymore. Now, this week, a picture came out of Tony Romo that was completely unflattering. Apparently, it was just the angle, but even though it was maybe just the angle, obviously the internet did not hold back. Now, all the Cowboys staff came out and said Tony Romo's in the best shape of his life, and even right after, another picture was posted of just a normal side angle of him that you can see. And he actually doesn't look that in bad shape. So hopefully it was just the angle, and hopefully he is definitely in a lot better shape for the season as they're going to need it. But it does really wonder how much a photo can actually add on to your weight. It's crazy. Now, the last big story this week is that Jets wide receiver Brandon Marshall has made a mega bet with wide receiver for the Steelers, Antonio Brown.
Man, hold it. AB, man, I see you boys driving those Rolls Royces to Cam. Let me show you how we do it in New York, man. We ride these Porsches, bro. Talk about going fast. Hey, let's race for pinks, bro, any day. Or, you know what I'm saying, if you have more receiving yards than me, I'll give you the Porsche. If I have more receiving yards than you, then you got to give me the Rolls Royce. Check it out.
Now, this is the brand new Rolls Royce of Antonio Brown's that Marshall is talking about. Absolutely crazy looking. And yes, after the video came out, of course, Antonio Brown accepted. So there you have it. At the end of the season, whichever receiver has more yards also now has way more cars. And there was 2 people that retired this week. The first being D lineman for the Seattle Seahawks, Chris Clemens, has finally retired after 13 seasons in the NFL. And offensive tackle Charles Brown has retired after only 4 seasons in the NFL. Ending with the Cowboys. Also, a little clear up from last week, I accidentally said the Greg Jennings rule. It's actually the James Jones rule for the hoodie, so it actually will still be in effect for James Jones. Okay, we got a lot of signings to talk about this week, so let's get into it. First off, 49ers signed first-round pick Joshua Garnett to a 4-year and probably around with other rookie first-round deals. It'll be around $12 million, but it hasn't been disclosed. Now this means that the last person that hasn't signed yet out of the whole entire first round is Joey Bosa, still holding out. The Raiders also extended their GM, Reggie McKenzie, to a 4-year extension. Now the numbers weren't actually disclosed about it. Now if you think about it, he was responsible for getting Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, and Amari Cooper, so he's probably going to get paid though. As well, Chiefs signed Eric Fisher to a 4-year, $48 million extension. Vikings also extended head coach Mike Zimmer, although nothing was disclosed about that one, so I'm sorry. Jets quarterback holdout Ryan Fitzpatrick finally signed a deal. It probably wasn't the deal he was looking for. It was a 1-year, $12 million deal. Having said that though, last year he was only making $3 million, so it's definitely an upgrade. Eagles also signed a 1-year deal with Darren Sproles, and he signed a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. It's also good to note that since 2009, Darren Sproles has led all running backs in all-purpose yards. Titans also picked up former Colts and before that Texans wide receiver Andre Johnson after his 1-year spout with the Colts, and no numbers were disclosed about that one. Panthers extended Kurt Coleman to a 3-year, $17 million deal. The Seahawks also extended their GM for another 5 years with them. Now because they were able to finally get him figured out, then he could figure out Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll will be extended through for another 3 years with the Seahawks, and it's also good to note that he took them to 2 Super Bowls recently, so again, he's probably getting paid as well. Also this week, Bears picked up Brandon Boykin. Again, nothing was disclosed about that one as well, so it's actually so many signings happening, but so little numbers, I'm sorry. And former Canadian linebacker Hanuk Muamba has signed a deal with the Cowboys as a linebacker. Again, they need all the help they can get at linebacker right now, as you guys know. And the final actually wasn't a signing, it was that Rams have released Nick Foles. Remember that guy they traded for and we're hoping that would be their star? Well, after Jared Goff's getting all these reps, he's already gone. So there you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Lowdown. If you liked it, hit like. If you really liked it, hit share. And as always, thanks.